Hey guys, what's up? We out here. My name is Maylys Story. I am known as the Donut Princess of LA. I own DK's Donuts and Bakery in Santa Monica, California. I also own a donut bouquet delivery service called Donut Princess LA. I have my own podcast. It's called Short and Sweet, a Donut Princess podcast. And I have a documentary coming out sometime this year or next year.
Oh my God, this is like so much fun for me. I literally started this podcast in March. In April when everyone was talking about all the small businesses and all the heartache, but they weren't talking about all the small businesses that were doing really amazing things. And I saw you at a conference, and I literally went on social media just to ask you, hey, would you like to talk to me, a total stranger in Boston? And it was so funny because when you said yes, I'm like, oh my God, like that really works. Like when people say they reach out and people respond, it really works. So thank you very much for talking to me. I'm super excited.
No problem. I'm
So
happy
I
to
just
be
want
here.
oh my God, thank you. So I have to find out. So let's hear about you. So you are the Donut Princess, but tell me the story of your business and how did it start and how did you get this title? I'm known for throwing out a lot of questions in one because I want people to hear just you and less of me.
Okay, perfect. I am here to answer all your questions. I became the Donut Princess because I was basically born into donut royalty. So, my great uncle Ted, he's actually known as the Donut King. He actually opened up hundreds of donut shops for Cambodian refugees back in the 70s and 80s when they were coming over from the Khmer Rouge. So, my parents were actually one of those families coming over. And, my parents, they both lived in a time of war. So they never got a chance to get an education. But all they knew about America was, this American dream, there's freedom, there's, opportunity. And so when they came here, that's what they were looking for. My dad, he tells me the story of when Uncle Ted picked him up from the airport and he looks back and there are maple bars in the back seat. And so this is kind of where it all began. Donuts have always been a big part of my family. A lot of my family members own donut shops, but DK's Donuts and Bakery is a very, very special part of our family. I was working in the store at the age of 6. I used to stand on a milk crate to kind of reach the top of the showcase to help my parents out. I would help out on the weekends. So that means, no cartoons for me. Getting up super early and getting used to doing that at such a young age, I was always willing to help my parents. And they always taught me the value of a dollar. And so I went to UCSD for college. I actually studied communications and wanted to be a news reporter. I was thrown in the back of the car of the reporting vehicles. I was up at 2 a.m. doing the reporters at the news desk. And I realized that there was no passion that I had in this field. So when I came back to LA, I thought, you know what? I'm going to step back into helping at the shop, but I'm going to come from a different angle. And I wanted to really rebrand the store. I think all the time that I was little and younger, I knew that there was a lot of potential and I knew that I wanted to tell everybody about it. So I stepped into my Donut Princess title, and what I did was I actually expanded the menu to over 120 different kinds of traditional, specialty, and hybrid donuts. And hybrid donuts were a very big thing back in like 2013, and specifically the half croissant, half donut that originated in New York. Yeah. So,
Okay, no, wait. I have to stop you for a quick second.
yeah.
So, there's so much content. All right, so let's just start where being in school, focusing on the media. What were your parents' thoughts at that point? Because they had the shop, and did they assume that you were going to you were going to come and take it over one day, or did they just want you to go off and do something dramatically different? I want to know what their thoughts were on that part, and what was that moment truly that really got you in that mindset of, you know what, I kind of want to go back to the family business? Because most kids, sometimes they go to their MBA programs, they realize that they want to come back in with new ideas, but the parents were like, parents, uncles, family, they're like, we've been doing this quite some time. Why are you going to come here with your degrees and your thoughts when we've been doing this and it's been working very well? So give me a little bit of a little bit more context.
Of course, and that's a really great question. I would describe myself as one of the donut kids, where the parents, they don't actually really want you to come back per se. There's parents who want you to completely take it over, and there's actually ones that don't want you to come back at all. And I think that my parents were a little bit uncertain as to where they wanted me to play in that whole sequence. I think that they were really split. On one hand, they had built up this amazing business and they, wanted it to keep going. But on the other hand, I was sent to, a private Catholic high school, and UC San Diego. They were saving their money to send me to these prestigious schools and wanted me to get this amazing education. And on top of that, owning a donut shop is so much work. It's a lot of grueling hours. I mean, I used to work 20-hour days on my feet. And they didn't really want me to come back to that. And so when I decided to come back, they were a little bit uneasy. And especially when you're implementing these like new ideas, they're like, what are you doing? They're so old school. They're always used to, no, we do it this way. And I'm like, well, let's try it this way. It's like, imagine me like pushing the envelope, but just like constantly pushing the envelope. And it took a lot of persistence. It took a lot of fights. If you guys have a, small business in your family, that it's really hard to change their minds. And I, to this day, I still fight them about certain things, but I do have a way better kind of track record now that they've seen me, prove that I'm successful. Now they're more willing to lend the ear and be like, oh, wow, like you didn't know what you're talking about. Because ultimately I am just like the baby of the family, just like little Maylys, like running around. And here I am just like making these moves for the business. So in answers to your question, they did have mixed reviews, but after I stepped in and I really proved myself, they were really happy that I came back. They never imagined that the store could be that busy or that so many people all over the world would know our name.
So now let's just get back to the amount of donuts that you have. I mean, so we're in Massachusetts. We're known for Dunkin Donuts. I mean, Dunkin Donuts is in every single corner. It's a franchise. Started here. Then, of course, you're in the South area. Then you have the Krispy Kremes. You have all this competition they're franchises and they're growing. What makes your place so special that it has a global feel? It has a global brand that is growing and people come to California for that. And why so many different choices?
Okay, that's a great question as well. So yes, Dunkin Donuts, and let me tell you, Dunkin Donuts, Krispy Kreme, and a few other donut shops, we have 4 donut shops within 1 mile of my location. And when Dunkin was making their expansion to California, there was all this media about it, saying like, oh my gosh, like, are you worried? Do you feel threatened? And, a small part of me did. I was like, Dunkin, they have so many marketing dollars to play with. They have a larger following on the East Coast. When you go to New York and the East Coast, they're on every corner. But what they don't have is quality. So quality is an important thing as to why Cambodian-owned donut shops are more popular and more desirable to go to. Why? We hand cut all of our donuts by hand. We make them around the clock and they're made on site. For Dunkin' and maybe Krispy Kreme, a lot of them are made in a warehouse and shipped out frozen. Now, if you are eating a donut and you have tasted a hot, fresh donut, you know that your taste buds will not know. They will know the difference between a frozen donut and one made with lots of love. And so, stepping back into that and knowing that my family has had these amazing recipes, amazing like ways to make donuts already, why not add variety to that? Because I wanted there to be a donut for everyone. I mean, at DK's Donuts, we have protein donuts for those bodybuilders who are trying to get their protein in and also want a donut. We have an ube donut, which is a purple yam donut. It's actually filled with B vitamins and antioxidants, so you don't feel that guilty eating the donut. And then we have, the heavy hitters like the cinnamon rolls, topped with like gooey vanilla icing. And we have the experiential ones, the half croissant, half donut I was talking to you about.
I can't even believe that even exists. I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And so for me, it's like, I want somebody to walk in there and know that there's like a donut that is waiting for you that suits you. Do you like coconut? I love coconut. We've got 4 different kinds of coconut ones. Do you love bacon? Oh, we have 5 different kinds of bacon donuts. Are you kind of like looking for a gift for someone? We have a variety of like unicorn donuts and colorful girly ones. So it's like, the expansion of the menu there daily, it's just a joy and like also a pleasure to kind of look into the showcase and know that there's a donut waiting for you. So again, I wanted to be unique. I didn't want to be like Dunkin' or Crispy. I just wanted to really show people that, there's creativity in food as well.
It's so funny because like I eat donuts once a year, and I mean, so I'm in New England. We have apple season, so it's like apples. It's apple season time, and everyone knows those hot, right out of the oil, the hot apple cider donuts is what we live for. But once a year, like it's once a year thing, and everyone talks about it. Everyone takes photos of it. Everyone posts their moment of truth. But to be able to have a donut shop that has all these amazing decadent, where every single time you go, then that would be something to do. Do you have any customers that have eaten every single one of your donuts?
I do. I do. For my customers, especially the regulars, we get regulars who get literally the same thing, like coffee and donut every day for the past 30 years. But then there's a few customers in there who they are very experiential. So they're like, okay, today I'm going to try this and I'll get my favorite one. I think there's always that dilemma, right? Should I try something new that I haven't tried before, or should I go with something that I know I love? And that's, again, it's having that variety available it's a very important part of, my business model. It's like, I want people to have the choice to choose which one they want.
Beautiful. So would you consider yourself first generation, second generation family-owned business or third generation? And I asked that question because family-owned businesses are just like, they're the essence of small businesses in the United States.
Yeah.
And so first generation, the original family member that built it, second generation continues to build it. By third and fourth, it starts deteriorating. So what are you in that line? And what are your thoughts about how family-owned businesses, small businesses, what's the longevity of them? Because everyone wants to have one, everyone's so excited about it, but they don't understand the back end of the family dynamics as well as how long it would really actually last.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that I am for sure a second generation. And I think that it really depends on, number one, the willingness of the next generation to even consider taking it over. Our business is donuts, but it could be anything else. In America, you have so many small businesses in all different categories. Like, what if your dad was a blacksmith? Did you want to do that? Like, do you have passion in it? And I think that's where the line is drawn, if the business goes to the next generation or not. Does the child or does the family member have, skin in the game and want to go ahead and carry it on? Like, there has to be some other drive. Obviously money, but something else that fulfills them on that journey to really have them carry it on. And I would tell you that a lot of donut shops now, they are selling them left and right. The parents are getting old. The kids don't want to take it over because it's so much work. And they just, they're moving on to better jobs, like being in America, having education, like you can do anything else. And so I really think that deterioration of small businesses is a very common thing. And I think when people hear that DK's Donuts is still within the family, they love it. It's like they're amazed by the history, because my parents started DK's in 1981. So it's very much been a part of our lives for a long time.
And how many, so you're the youngest. Do you have siblings, and do they help as well? Since you mentioned your uncle, so how many family members are actually working in the business?
So I would say we have like around 4 or 5. There's also spouses of family members. There's like adopted family members. But it takes a village to run a donut shop. We are also operated 24 hours of the day, so that means everybody has to take a bit of a shift. With family business, there also is trust, and you just have to be sure that if a family member does want to help out, it's pretty much a really great thing, because it keeps it within the family. But we're still very open to providing opportunities to anybody who is willing to put in the work. That is very important. You have to have a very high work ethic to make it in a donut shop.
It's funny that you say the work ethic. I think that a lot of people think about when they're thinking about entrepreneurship and small businesses, they're thinking about, oh yeah, someone's like at a coffee shop thinking, oh, I have a great idea. And then they're going to keep trying more and more different, they're going to try different ideas and concepts. And you nailed it very well in regards of that. I mean, you have to have skin in the game. And so if you were going to speak to someone that was part of a family-owned business, what would you say to them in regards of making sure that your ideas are heard? How are you making sure your ideas are heard? What are the steps when they're not heard? And also, what would you say to someone that is wanting to start a new business right now? I mean, they're at, like, I mean, right now, we're going to talk about the pandemic shortly, but they're at home, they have a job, they're getting paid, but they're just dying to start something. Mm-hmm. But what do you say to these individuals that are just like, should I do it? Should I not do it? How do I do it? And how do I, if it's going to be the family owned business, how am I going to make my voice heard clearly?
Okay. So that was a very compounded question. So please stop me if I don't answer one of them. But okay. So for the small business, like how do you get heard, right? So let's say that your family members are there and you have this new idea and you are sold on it. You know, you've done your research, you've gotten all the materials ready, and you want to kind of, basically what I do is I put together a proposal. But this proposal that I put together is different to each person I'm presenting to. So if you know that, you know, for example, my brother is very like numbers, logistics, like he's more of like, let's have it run on its own. So if I already know that about him, then I'm going to push the envelope in the way where it's very, you know, routine. It kind of does it's on its own. All you have to do is activate it and really put it into his world of like what that's like. If it's, you know, my mom, it's okay. Like, is it going to be profitable? Okay. So in this case, you know, this product, it costs this much. If we sell this much, we get this. Also, I've, you know, gone on and talked to a bunch of people about having accounts already, and I've already set that up. I just need the okay from you. You know, like, I think a lot of it is just taking the action. And so that's kind of how I present the ideas that I want, by just either, you know, pushing it into the direction, or sometimes I just go ahead and do it and go, by the way, I'm doing this. And they go, oh, okay. And I'm like, you know, and then we deal with it later. So
the whole entire concept of asking for forgiveness, not for permission.
Exactly. So that's what I would say. If you know, are in a small business and you have a bunch of ideas, you know, what you can also do is show them other companies who have implemented that idea, and show them numbers, show them that it works. You know, and obviously you have to do your research, but even if you try something, and this one will go with the question of, if you're sitting at home right now and you want to start your own small business, but you don't know what to do, you don't know where to start, you don't know if you should start, it's very risky. You know, business is a commitment. It's a very minimum, a 5-year commitment. And that is a strong commitment. That is like, it's almost like you're having a child commitment. You will like live, work, breathe your business for the next 5 years if you choose to do so. So I think that if you are, you know, looking to do that, here are some tips that I think would be great to know. So number 1, do you have your business model, you know, your business plan? Do you have a plan for those 5 years? Also, plan for failure. So when failure happens, you're not in a big hole. You didn't just aim for success, you know, you've got to aim for an exit plan always. Number 3, find a partner that, you know, might work with you well. However, draft a contract and make sure that you guys are all squared away on what your duties are. I know that there are a lot of partnerships that fail because, you know, for example, someone might not have the same work ethic as you do or the same experience, and they're just in it for something else. I would say find a partner that works just as hard as you, if not harder, and is more intelligent than you. And then another one is just start, you know, like reach out for help. You know, consultants are great. They have experience already and they can hold you accountable. Or, you know, you can also just keep doing research, compiling it together, but give yourself deadlines. And so I think those are some great starter tips for you to kind of go through.
All right, I'm going to give you a round of applause right there, because I am known for just throwing out tons of questions, because again, I want everyone to hear your voice and not my voice. But boy, oh boy, you nailed them. Excellent job. Well done.
Thank you.
So March 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, we're all working, we're doing our thing, and all of a sudden we're getting wind of something happening, and then more and more and more, and then all of a sudden we're all shutting down. You are, in essence, an essential worker.
Yes.
And the pandemic hits. What did that do for you? What did that do for your industry, the family? I mean, how did you guys handle this craziness? And the ripple effect got more and more, and California got hit really, really hard. So tell me about what was March like, and how is it now?
So March was pretty devastating, you know. I think the week leading up to that was when I had all of our accounts. So we have accounts with 9 of the churches in the area every Sunday. We cater to 6 different schools. We have big tech companies. We also supply to the cafes in the area. And one by one, they would call me. These are people who have ordered from us for like over 25 years. And they're like, I'm so sorry. You know, we're going to have to pause our order. And, you know, we don't know when we're going to place an order with you next. So because that was a very big part of our business model, it was a big hit. On top of that, we lost about 35% of our foot traffic in the store. It was dead. It was quiet. And, you know, then it's like, you think on the personal level, okay, I don't know if I should be going outside because my mom lives with me and I don't want to compromise her life because I need to run my business. So I really took a day of reflection. And honestly, I felt super, super helpless. I was like, well, if I can't go out and do something, then what am I going to do just sitting in my room? And I just started thinking and thinking. I also was very vulnerable on social media. And reached out to my community and asked them for help. On top of that, I immediately started to take action. So the first thing I did was I launched a new virtual store, which was through Uber Eats. It's called DK's Secret Sandwich Shop. So in this case, what I had in mind was, okay, people are going to be working from home. They need a quick snack, they need a quick meal, and then they need to go and do their Zoom calls. So I launched, photographed, created a menu in less than 3 days and put that up. That was one. The second one, I turned DK's Donuts into a local grocery store. Now, the people that I had in mind were these the older community, 65 plus. They come in all the time anyways, but they live in the area. But, you know, now these long grocery stores where they are having long lines, and also it's a larger risk than if they were just coming in one by one. So they could buy butter, flour, eggs, vegetables, and that was available for them 24 hours. I also did offer to do a free delivery to their house if they're in the area, just because I like everything that I do, I put myself in their shoes. And in this case, I was thinking, like, what if my grandma needed to get groceries and she didn't want to wait in that big line? You know, she's more at risk than anything. So that's the first 2 things I did. And I think the most powerful one that I did with my friend Monica, I created this initiative called Lunchboxes for Love. So what that aimed to do was making sure that we can take care of those on our front lines and our healthcare workers. But what more to do that than through my food love language, food. It's, you know, how I show love is through food. So, of course, you know, I put together these little packages of gourmet sandwiches and donuts and coffee, and I would deliver them to hospitals personally. And so pretty much I basically got 40 hospitals in over a month and a half and served over 2,000 meals to people on the front lines. And they were so appreciative. They were so happy. You know, I even conducted a few interviews on my podcast with people who are working in COVID-19 positive units and just getting their feedback of, like, you know, I had my friend Daniel say, you don't know what the impact is when you're running around in a COVID-19 positive unit and you come back to a lunch break with a nice lunch or like nice donut or nice coffee that, you know, somebody's thinking about them. I mean, that is definitely the way that I wanted to pay it forward. And
well, I was gonna say, it's amazing. It's amazing that you've done that. I mean, these individuals, think about it for a quick second. As you were talking, I was thinking about these individuals that are on the floor and they're going out for lunch, and they're like, okay, my patients are okay, they're fine, everyone's stable. They go to lunch and they come back and someone has died. And so it takes a hit on your soul and your heart where, my God, I could go to the bathroom, I can go out for lunch, and then it's just happening so quickly. So that one moment of positiveness for them means so much more than that we could ever imagine. Because when you're surrounded by death, and especially death with a unknown, it's just like it's debilitating to someone's psyche. And for you to be there for them with a simple gesture makes a big difference.
Absolutely. And I've just met so many amazing healthcare professionals on the way, and very inspiring, like, again, putting yourself into their shoes. Some of these nurses haven't seen their kids in over 3 months because they're on the front lines, being the essential workers to take care of the people that we care about. And I think that is so brave, so courageous. I mean, I'm getting chills just thinking about it right now, and knowing that I can make an impact through my like little niche. I'm really happy about that. I really am. And we've actually started to pivot a little bit, because we've started to do like the veterans hospitals now and the people who are affected by that. And then even with the Black Lives Matter movement, I was passing some donuts out to protesters, and I did drop some donuts off for some injured protesters who were hit by, rubber bullets and tear gas. I think that, paying it forward, this is our community. Like, we cannot leave anybody behind here. And if there's a way I can like boost the morale or just show support, that's where I am.
Well, let's just take it into reverse there. You and your family are taking such great care of the community. How is the community taking care of you? Because you've been around for such a long time. And I think that's one of the things that I've seen time and time and time again. People don't want their local community shops to go away. And I go, and you guys are the most vulnerable. So how did the community take care of you and your family?
Well, the community, when you ask the community, they will come back and help you if you've been really good to them over the years. And I've seen that. I especially saw that the last weekend of May when there was all the looting happening in Santa Monica. Luckily, my brother and my uncle were standing there all night with a bat and just hoarding off these like crazy looters. But in the meantime, my phone was blowing up on social media and personal texts. Are you okay? What do you need? Do you want us to go and board? Do you want us to go and protect? And, it's so incredible, the outpour of people. And I was like, we're fine. I was like, just, for me, what would mean more is if you went and educated yourself and really participated in the movement at home where you're safe. I was worried about their safety instead. And also on top of that, reaching out in the beginning of COVID and saying, hey guys, we need your help. All I really want you to do is, post about us on social media, tag us, tell people about us, because we're still open and we're still, creating these experiences for people. Even like today, it's UCLA's graduation, and I've been talking to at least 10 different moms from all over the country. Can you do something special for my child? Like my friend told me about you. And that's how I know it's working. Number one, we serve an amazing product. Number two, we have an amazing community who will go above and beyond and share our business, because not only are we an ethical company who is, loves people of, all colors, all sizes, whatever it may be, but we're hardworking, and we just want to ensure that we are supporting the community just as much as they support us.
What have you, you're naming a couple of things that you've pivoted on. You had so much time to think during the pandemic. So much is going on. Goodness gracious, 2020, boy, oh boy, has it taught us a lot of lessons.
Oh, yeah.
What have you and your family created from this that you're going to add that you would have like, we're too busy, we're moving too fast, it was never a thought, and now you have this whole new something that you've added to your company that you're like, this would have never come to fruition if it wasn't for COVID. What was it?
I think it goes a lot with the safety of our customers. We're implementing, pickup orders need to be outside. and you know, when people come in, there's little X's to kind of create that social distancing, but it's like caring about the actual health of the customer is now very important to us. You know, we're sanitizing very often, and we're ensuring that when somebody comes in, they feel safe. And before all of this happened, it was like, let's just like create this experience for them. But no, like there's an added thing of safety. And then the next thing is, you know, I was talking about it earlier, is just like knowing that we are in action to support our community, and that I am at the forefront of that. And I will not pretend that I don't know what's going on here. Like I do. And I just want to make sure that people feel really safe, and that they know that they're supporting a company that, you know, has their back, just like how they have our backs. And I think I've always wanted to pursue something philanthropic. So having lunchboxes for love in my like back pocket, it just opens up doors of like, what other communities can I impact? You know, I'm constantly thinking in my head, like, you know, you were talking about death earlier, and you know, I went to go visit my grandma the other day, and my grandma raised me since I was 16, and she's very special to me. And I also have another grandma in Cambodia who is also very special to me. And when I look at death around me, not that they're going like, not that it's going to happen like today, but just looking at like somebody who has been aged and the two generations before, and looking at myself now and having the energy, it's like I always think like, what's my impact going to be when I leave this world? So I think that is such a, it's got so many possibilities of like what I can do. And it's just like, you know, having the time with COVID, it gave me time to think. And I never really get that time. I'm usually just on the go, going to meetings, making sure these donuts are getting there, coordinating all of the stuff. I mean, I'm working all day long. And so to have the time to really reflect and look at myself as someone who has that power, I think that is also something that I've taken away from COVID.
I love that whole entire essence of the grandmas. So I took care of my grandmother for 21 years in like my career. She died 5 years ago at the age of 95 and 1 month. And everyone says, like, I go, when they see and they feel full out love, especially from their grandchildren, they want to live that much longer for us, because they want to make sure that they have given us all the knowledge, all the stories, all the tales, all the everythings before they leave. And when they leave, we have no guilt and they have no guilt, because we have all of them. So I love that your grandmas are so very special to you, because my grandmother, as so many people in my world know, that my grandmother is very, very special to me. What is your, let's just say in a perfect world, we go back to our new normal, whatever the new normal is going to be. What does your day look like? What's your first day look like after we open up all the doors and we are back to our new normal?
Let's see. I think it would be a huge welcome back, you know? Welcome back. Let's make some new memories here. Let's create some new experiences. A lot of appreciation. I think a lot of what I do comes to gratitude. Not only that I have the privilege to be born into a donut family, but using those powers for good. And so I think that people are very inspired by the things that I do, and they see it, and then they want to do it for the people in their lives. And I think that in itself is like, it's like planting little seeds everywhere, you know, and I get to do that through the power of social media and storytelling and sharing myself very vulnerably and authentically. And so what that looks like for me is like people coming in, like it's like a celebration and everybody's invited. It's like a big party. Everybody's eating donuts and just like loving life, and like can go back and like appreciate this new normal, where some things are still the same, but some things are incredibly different. And that they come in with this new mindset of really about humanity, and just like everybody can come back down to square one, and we can just like move ahead. That's kind of what I see for that first day back, where everything's
epic. That's a really epic first day.
Yeah.
So wonderful. My last question, if you had to ask everyone that's listening, so East Coast, West Coast, different continents, anyone that is in your earshot, for a personal or a personal and a professional ask, what would your ask be?
My ask would be, how does, let's see, how am I going to phrase this? Let's see. What does kindness mean to you? And how are you going to be sure that you show that to others and inspire others to pass it on? Yeah.
That's a, I mean, all right, so wait, is that your professional or your personal? Because that could.
Oh, I have to have two?
Yes, you have to have two.
Okay.
On.
So, well, I feel like that kind of applies to two, but I can come up with another one actually now that I think about it. I think the next one is, how have you played a part in creating your family's legacy or documenting your family's legacy? And how will you pass that on to the next generation? Yep.
I love that one because I mean, I'm a public speaker and I speak on creating your legacy all the time, where it's not an item, it's something that you're giving off. That way other people are learning. So I love that one so much. So I have to say, the entire time I'm talking to you, and I love it, and I'm seeing this little light right above your your mouth, and I'm like, I'm not going to interrupt her because she has a great flow going. So tell me a little bit about the light.
Well, I love to share myself, and sometimes I stream video games. So if you can see, these are gaming headphones, and I do podcasts and everything like that. This is just an added little bonus, just to kind of maybe give me that extra power when I'm speaking. But yeah, I think it's very big on my head. But yeah, that's what it is. It's a gaming headset. I also love playing video games too, when I just kind of to decompress. I think something that I didn't touch up on is like, with the kindness question, it's like, how are you being kind to yourself? That's something that I struggle with all the time, because I'm always like, what else can I do? What else can I do? And my friends, especially my best friends, are always like, have you taken a bath lately? Or it's okay to like shut off the world for a little bit. And it's just, those people in my life are amazing because they understand the grind, and they also understand the type of person I am. I'm very generous with my time, very generous with what I do. And for them to be generous back with me is like, hey, just check it in. You ever just take some time to yourself? And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll take some time to myself. I'll put it in my Google Calendar.
No, I have to say, to have the right people around you that care about you and literally watch you is a gem. I mean, I was talking to my mom yesterday, and I was saying where she had mentioned that someone that had passed away, and that person was in their apartment for a month and no one ever knew. And I'm like, Mom, I go, do you see there's a problem with that? That's just so devastating, because no one called, but everyone was like, oh yeah, she didn't talk to anybody. I'm like, but no one checked on her. And so your friends check on you. I mean, my friends check on me. I mean, it's just such a simple little thing, where a text, a phone call, a Zoom, whatever it is, to have people see that you're working hard, but yet they check on you.
Yeah.
You're okay. So you have good people in your life on top of the family, and you're doing great. Again, you totally impressed me on your presentation. You did such a great job that I'm like, I'm going to definitely reach out to this one, because she's cool. And I haven't been to California in such a long time, and this was the year that I was going to go, but I'm really excited about going now, because now there's a reason where I want to meet you face to face, but also I want to try a few of your donuts.
Oh yeah, best believe I'm stuffing you with some donuts for sure. So you gotta let me know when you can come to California.
Oh my God, Maylys, thank you so very much. I can't wait till everyone sees you, and I mean literally, and just everyone that's on the West Coast, definitely support you and your family and all that you're doing. And so thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy day just to talk to this crazy stranger on the East Coast. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel very honored, and also just love your energy. I love what you're doing, and that's why I was just like, yes, tell me what time, I'm there.
I mean, the big joke with a lot of my friends and my family, whenever I travel, they're like, do you ever leave anywhere without a friend? I'm like, no. I mean, there's so many opportunities to meet so many people that inspire and high energy, and you're one of them. So thank you so very much for being in my world now.
Thank you. Thank you so
All right.
much.